Hi, Lynn Watts here with Wyatt the Wonder Dog Books. And today I'm going to be talking about positive and negative comments, in particular, the science of encouragement, how important that is, and how we can develop that. Before I get started, though, in case you're looking for some lessons in terms of teaching kids how to give positive comments and encouragement to each other, to their friends. Really, a very important lesson that we could all learn something about. Let me just refer you to my elementary school counselor's book of lesson plans, volume 2. All right, this is only in volume 2. And there is a lesson in there called, let's see if I can show it to you, Making Friends with Positive Words. I'm hard to get the whole thing. There you go. Making friends with positive words. All right. And so, as always, there's the objectives in here, essential questions, picture books you can read, but then there's some activities that you can do, and one with different ages. And so, one particular one that I like is a positive and negative worksheet. And it's just a list of 15 different statements. And you could, I know you're very creative, you could use this in lots of different ways. You could just use it as a worksheet and have kids just, label them positive, negative, positive. Or you can make a copy of this, cut them up into the different statements, have a child draw one out and say whether it's positive or negative. And then if it's negative, you could have them turn it into a positive statement. What would it take to do that? So, for instance, a, a negative statement might be, you're not good at that. You're not any good at that. All right. How would you turn that around? Right. And, it's a little challenging because maybe they aren't very good at that, but maybe you could say something like, looks like you're really putting a lot of effort into learning to do that. So you can focus on something, even if they haven't quite reached the goal of being good at something. So you can certainly, some of these are easy. You're not my friend anymore. Okay, pretty negative statement. How can you turn that around? And it would be, would you be my friend? But also, this is a great opportunity to talk about the communication. What has happened that you're saying you don't want to be friends anymore? So, as you can see, there's more to it than just labeling it positive or negative. And I know that you know how to take that and run with it and really make it into a very beneficial kind of exercise. But let's talk first. In this video, I'm going to be talking about positive comments and why they're so important. And sometimes we need to teach other people, and that can be students, that could also be adults. Okay, so maybe you run into or you counsel with, consult with teachers who tend to be very negative, and they don't really see why do I have to build students up. So some of the reasons that research has shown that using positive comments, which results in positive emotions, obviously we all feel better when somebody gives us a positive comment. Some of the things that happen with that is it helps individuals build resilience. All right. It gives them hope and encouragement. Obviously, it can increase creativity. Certainly, if there are negative comments, that could decrease creativity because someone might think, I just can't do this. I'm not creative. It definitely strengthens relationships. So, I think this is especially true. Perhaps you or someone is in a relationship where they get a lot of negative criticism or feedback. What is that relationship like? Right? So positive comments build a relationship, whereas criticizing critical comments tear it down. It can improve problem solving abilities, especially if the comments are constructive, productive, help kids look at what they're doing right and how to improve on that. It can enhance emotional regulation. We want to give positive comments when we see that kids are using some good tools, some good strategies for regulating their emotions. And finally, positive comments helps people recover more quickly from setbacks. So those are all some really good reasons generally why positive comments are important. But why are they important in schools? Why do they matter? Well, they help develop a growth mindset, first of all, and we know the importance of that and how students who have a growth mindset are much more able to learn and to recover from setbacks and keep taking on challenges and obstacles. So an example of a positive comment in that kind of situation that can encourage growth mindset might be focusing on the effort. You really worked hard on that problem. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to say, somebody made a goal when they didn't, or say good job when really you look at it and you think you could have done a whole lot better. Rather, it says, I see the effort that you're putting into that. You're not there yet, but I see the effort that you're putting in there. All right. I noticed you didn't give up even when it became difficult. All right. So those are positive comments. It's not just empty flattery. It's actually very constructive, positive things. Also, positive comments can increase confidence. So if you say something like, that showed a lot of courage to get up and make that speech in front of the class or to give your report, I really appreciate, what an effort that was for you, and you really did well with that. Or I noticed how you helped the new kid in the class. I really appreciate that. All right. So it can increase confidence, help kids know that they are doing things that are going to benefit themselves and others. It can improve behavior. So perhaps you have a speaker come into the classroom, and afterwards you might say to the students, all of them or a few of them, I really appreciate the way that you showed respect. And then you might tell them how they did that. You listened, you were quiet when they were talking, you asked good questions, showing respect for our visitor. And again, you can say, I really appreciate how you helped out your neighbor, your classmate, and all of this highlights good behavior and encourages it. And then finally, it strengthens relationships. So when we have positive comments, then children feel safe. It encourages a feeling of emotional safety, and that is really essential for learning and also for developing a positive self-esteem and confidence. So the research has definitely shown that positive comments, constructive comments, that can be very, very beneficial in many, many different ways as we help out the students that we're working with. So as always, thanks so much for listening. And thanks for all you do for students. And be on the lookout for my second part of this video, which will be what happens with negative comments and are they ever necessary? All right. So stay tuned for the answer to that question. So thanks for listening.